I'm moving to Saskatchewan if I don't get some marijuana.
Chaperone, more like chopped salad.
More like chopped. More like chapped Rome. More like more like chopped and wrong. Yeah. So we're declaring war on lesbians.
They're saying
We're
that
not.
we're declaring war on lesbians.
My mom I could hear my mom say she didn't put salt or pepper. So we do have some, welcome back. This is 48.
That's a lot of episodes.
It is August.
What are we going to do for episode
It
50?
is August 11th.
It feels like that has some significance.
It is August 11th. When we record, it's August 10th. But when this comes out, it's August 11th.
Mhm.
And we are we actually have a most insane busy weekend
Mhm.
next weekend.
It's true.
We
We
gotta
wanted to do
see
Folklorama too.
we gotta see your parents in laws.
Mhm.
We gotta see your step grandparents in laws.
Mhm.
I guess yeah, those would be
My
your
step grandparents.
your step grandparents,
Mhm.
but they're not married, so that's like step
No, they're married.
Kim and Richard.
Oh, no, I guess not.
So
Yeah.
those are like your step parents.
No one's gonna know what we're talking about.
They're your step. Yeah, we got to see Tyler's step grandparents on Friday, and then on Saturday we may be going to an insane birthday party.
Are we not doing Folklorama then? I guess.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll have time. I don't know. I don't know. We could. I don't know. We could take Friday off.
Maybe.
I do have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, and they have not approved the time off yet. So I don't know. I'll have to. I don't know.
How do you request time?
You gotta ask them if you can take the day off.
Did you ask them?
Yeah, man.
So they're waiting to tell you, or?
They haven't approved my boss hasn't approved the time off yet.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I don't
Well,
know.
if they don't, just call in sick.
Well, yeah, I'll have to because I have an appointment. I gotta go to this. I've been waiting for like 5 months
Hmm.
for this appointment. It's a
You've been
psychiatric.
waiting.
It's a
Oh,
psychiatric assessment.
I thought you said dentist.
I didn't say dentist. I said appointment.
I have a dentist appointment on Wednesday.
What time?
After work, like 4:30.
I thought you. Okay. I thought you're done at 4:30.
No, I'm done at 4.
Oh, so you got to race there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's close.
So yeah, so we have a busy weekend coming up. We had a. I mean, I guess we didn't have a busy weekend this weekend, but felt like we were getting up to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We're pretty active. Pretty active. It was a nice weekend.
What did we do yesterday?
We were mostly chilling, but we also hung out with
Start
Catherine.
playing Diablo 4.
We hung out with Catherine. We started playing Diablo 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What was better, yesterday or Friday?
they were both good for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. What's better, friends or being drunk?
Being drunk is fun. Being drunk is fire. We got
Yeah.
drunk and watched Norbit, and it's not a good
It
movie. It's not even
sucks.
funny.
I thought it would be funny, but he just gets
I was
molested.
I got to level with you. I was actually I think I meant to turn my mic down. I turned it up. I actually have to level with you. I did not want to watch Norbit, and I was kind of. Oh, what the fuck's going on?
Why didn't you just say you
Talk
didn't?
on the mic. Can you talk on the mic?
Why didn't you just say you didn't want to watch Norbit?
Because I didn't. I thought you'd get upset if I tried to overrule it. And then I realized no, he has to see this for himself to understand why I'm making
I'm
this
glad I
choice.
watched it, but I
It's
don't know
not
if I
good.
should have.
It's not good. I think we would have been better off watching The Wild.
How you doing?
I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch The Wild or the Amazon Prime War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube. Have you seen clips from that one?
I don't know if Wild would be any better. Have you seen the trailer for that movie?
You're so. I'm trying to. Is there? Can you? Do you think you could do skin darkening, like for the just for like the lighting?
For myself?
Yeah. Do you think like you could go out like?
I can get a tan.
Well, you could put like
Blonde
barbecue.
hair and a tan.
Could you do barbecue sauce?
Yeah, sure.
Do
Mustard.
Can you do red face for the podcast so you
Nope.
can appear better on screen?
Mm-mm.
Did you know that back in the day when they would record
And when they recorded Norbit, they did Asian face.
that's called yellow face. When they would record black actors in like the 20s and 30s, they would have them put shoe polish on their faces so they would appear more vibrant on screen.
Why not just do makeup?
That is makeup.
I guess. You can just use actual makeup.
I feel like okay, but I think you're missing the point. The point is they would force black people to do blackface.
Yeah.
It's demeaning and dehumanizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that's nice or wrong?
No, it's not nice.
It's right or wrong.
It's wrong.
So
I know it's progressive of me.
so we do have some questions.
I got a lot of questions.
No, we don't.
Hmm.
These are all from our good friend Richie.
Okay.
He was the only one who commented.
They're just
Uh,
big questions.
my favorite question mark scientific anomaly is why the fuck are things radioactive and why does it just do that? Well, I think
I don't
it's
know.
I know.
All right, say why then.
It's energy. It's just pure energy is all it is.
It's like you fed the object a Red Bull. Now it's like freaking out.
Like it's weird that random rocks just radiate invisible super cancer. It's an irrational, rational fear of mine. Rational in the sense that I should be scared, irrational that I'll never encounter it. I do find radioactivity stories like the Democor and Hisashi Uchi morbidly fascinating.
Have you ever watched those videos where the guy's like, "Did you know that they put like 10 tons of radioactive waste in the
In
bottom of a
Yellowknife.
lake in fucking Yellowknife?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, what happens if I'm going swimming there?"
That is actually an issue because if there's ever a major power outage in Yellowknife, then the containment procedures will fail and like the entirety of Yellowknife will become irradiated
Mhm.
and it would kill like the entire city.
Mhm.
So it's actually a kind of a fucked up thing.
Yeah.
And that radioactivity, do you know where that fucking uranium and plutonium came from?
No.
Indigenous fucking communities. They kicked them off their land so they get radioactivity so they could nuke Japanese people.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
There's a bunch of nuclear waste in like Sweden too.
Part of the nuclear energy that was used in the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki came from indigenous communities, came from in traditional indigenous territories that were stolen. The radioactivity thing, I guess I don't find it that perplexing. I guess I'm not that perplexed by the science of it, because to me it's just like everything's got an energy, and some energy just doesn't. It's not good for humans. Like the sun.
Mhm.
The sun is a big ball of energy, and it just is so far away that it's good for us. But if it
Mhm.
was too close, it would. But you get too much of it, it kills you.
Do you ever meet those people who, whenever you're talking about like global warming or something, bring up nuclear energy and they go on like a tangent about
Well,
nuclear energy?
yeah. Well, they've made some pretty big strides in safety.
They have, but I don't think every place on the entire world should be nuclear.
I want a nuclear reactor in the middle of the city.
Even if it is clean, it's still nuclear.
Yeah, it's good for you,
It's
though.
not really that safe. If it's easier to just do like hydro
I think
or solar, just do that.
nuclear energy is safer than oil and gas.
Well, yeah, but I feel
Like
like
in the
you
long
should
run,
try to exhaust like more green options before you go nuclear.
nuclear is slowly, but I mean, nuclear is slowly transitioning into a form of green energy. Like the more waste is reduced, and the more
It's still going to be dangerous.
yeah, but I mean, like hydroelectric energy is not green either.
Yeah, not really.
For
Manitoba
those
Hydro is
for those
actually
who don't know, it's because when they build dams, they oftentimes will demolish like an entire forest and completely reroute a massive river that will destroy tons of ecosystems and can completely endanger rare forms of wildlife or flora.
yeah, they stop like natural water flow, so they get like too much of X ingredient,
Yeah,
and it like makes algae and
and
stuff.
these like rivers and ecosystems have been remained relatively untouched for thousands of years, and then you're just completely demolishing them,
It's also to say nothing of it affecting like indigenous communities.
infecting.
Affecting.
Oh, I thought you said infecting.
Like it'll
Um,
reduce the water levels.
well, actually, one of the big dams up north is owned like 49% by local communities because they can't turn a profit on it. So the indigenous communities eventually just started buying it up.
Mm.
Because it's more valuable for them to have energy than it is for them to have money. But um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, you got to think if they demolish like 100 acres of land, how many thousands of animals are dying in that process? Like you don't people don't think about that very often, and how many trees that have been how many like 100-year-old like how much old growth is being destroyed? You can't get that back. You can't get old growth back. I think a
Do
bird hit my
yeah.
window.
Do you
You can't get that old growth back.
in Tuxedo, do people have solar panels much?
I don't know. I think some people do.
In like newer Transcona developments, a lot of people have solar, and I see a lot of like solar like sales flyers around. I don't think solar is that effective in Canada though. There's like 8 months of the year where there's no sun.
So I think the science on the radioactivity thing is like when the atoms are imbalanced, and so like the it has like a crazy energy potential, and like the atoms are always bouncing around and going crazy, because like energy is just at the most base form of energy is kinetic force, right? It's like things moving around too much. And sometimes those things they move around so much on the like atomic level that it can give us cancer and kill us. Which is kind of I don't really it kind of doesn't really make sense, but I don't think to be fair, I don't think scientists know why. I think they know how. Like I don't think we know why we have atoms. It doesn't really matter.
You
Like
ever,
it doesn't like I don't know why trees have to be green,
hmm.
but I don't really think it matters. I think I just know that it is.
You ever play Feed the Beast, the mod
We've
pack in
talked about
Minecraft?
actually feed the beast multiple times.
Have we
Yes.
on this podcast?
Yes.
Hmm. I was gonna say I had like an infinite energy like thing that I had set up where I had a tree planter that would automatically plant a tree sapling and would feed it bone meal, and it would grow a tree instantly.
And then
And then
you would make charcoal from the tree.
it would harvest the tree and it would suck up all the like wood and then it
Yeah.
would burn the wood to make charcoal and then it was like infinite energy.
That's not infinite energy though, because you have to get the bone meal from somewhere.
I had a skeleton farm.
Well, in real life, we can't make that. Otherwise,
Maybe
that
we
would
can.
I would say that that is a genius idea if we had such thing as a skeleton farm.
Hmm. We've got eggshells.
Eggshells aren't infinite.
Sure they are.
No, man, we still have to feed the chicken. Where does the feed come from?
Seed.
Okay, how do we grow the seeds?
We pick them off the tree.
And how do we make those trees grow? What do we feed them?
Eggshells.
But yeah, like right, like there's no such thing as infinite energy. It's just not
My mom.
conceptually possible.
Side tangent. My mom has been going on a eggshell craze recently
What are you talking about?
because the bottom of our tomatoes are like soggy and rotten, kind of.
Yeah, because
And
they're gross.
a symptom of that is apparently potatoes not having enough potassium.
Mm.
So my
Banana
mom
style.
has been really into putting eggshells. So at all hours of the day, she's like cracking eggshells and like peeling them off, and my house smells like eggs, and it's really gross.
Are she eating the eggs?
She's eating them, but like
She's like eating a raw
I
egg all the
hate.
time.
Makes hard-boiled eggs, and I hate the smell so much.
Um, I do think. I mean, is it an anomaly? I don't know. Is it weird? Yeah, it's pretty weird. I'll give Richie that.
Yeah, what was the question?
There wasn't a question. He was just talking to us.
Okay.
He was saying, "Why the fuck are things radioactive, and why does it do that?"
Yeah, I
My,
don't know.
I guess that is a question. And what I'll say is, I think it's an imbalance of energy in the atom, and I think the energy is not conducive to humans.
Isn't it like the atoms like too many or
Yeah,
something?
there's like too many on one side.
Mm-hmm.
And why does it do that? It's because it's not conducive to humans, and we can't intake the energy the way we can other energies.
It's like an unstable atom.
Yeah, but like some radioactivity is not bad for us. Like small amounts of like ultraviolet radioactivity is good for us. Like we need it to survive. It's part of our it's we've evolved to require it because that's our environment. Like we need it. But we have not evolved to intake uranium and plutonium. But I mean, theoretically, I mean something could hypothetically speaking evolve to intake like radioactive waste and thrive off of it. Like
Two-headed cow fallout.
I think cockroaches are like almost immune to radioactivity.
Hmm.
I think it barely affects them
Why do you say that?
because they can survive a nuclear bomb.
Hmm.
That's like a scientific fact.
Hmm.
Yeah, in Fallout, I mean, there's creatures that are healed by radioactivity, and that is a science-based RPG. So you kind of have to look into that a little bit too.
Remember when we ate our son?
Yes, we played Fallout 4. I was showing Tyler Fallout 4, and we were playing the game normally. I think we got kind of bored of just like playing because I don't think it's conducive to co-op play that game.
No.
It's just long. It's really long if you play it co-op. And so I was like, okay, well, why don't we just do like a speed run of the game where we did like a melee cannibal, and I think it only took us like 8 hours or something to beat the game.
It was really fun because we just infinite heal by eating people.
Yeah, you just eat everyone, and we were melee. We had melee and damage resistance, so we like would never die.
And we met our son. We ate him
We ate him.
instantly.
Simon Pegg. This is Richie again. You said you don't know who Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are.
No.
So Richie said Simon Pegg is usually paired with Nick Frost, and they're a dope-ass comedy pair.
Hmm.
He also said, the most likely reason why we can't control weather is weather being too unpredictable to accurately replicate, or by trying to replicate like weather patterns, we may actually make things worse. For example, we may try to bring rain, but end up causing a flood.
Hmm.
That's just my guess. We've actually been in some places they've been reversing desertification. Have you seen the edges of the Sahara Desert?
I thought it's been getting worse.
The Sahara Desert? No, actually, you actually know nothing about African deserts.
I thought the whole thing was like desertification was spreading into sub-Saharan Africa.
No, man, you don't. De-desertification Africa.
I know they've been doing efforts to try and stop it, but I don't know if it's going that well.
Look at this. Digging holes in desert to make grass. See?
Oh yeah. So it's like Holes, the movie.
No, it's like when you build the holes, the stuff like grows in it, right? Like, see, this is a photo of like the edge of the Sahara. They won't see, the fans won't see this, but this is okay. Hold on,
That's kind of cool. I feel like that would take a long ass time though.
Oh yeah, long time, long time. They've planted 50 million trees. Okay, so check this out.
Let it grow.
So here's some facts about Tanzania. 5,000 holes have been dug. 140,000 farmers were digging these holes. 278,000 farmers were being trained by champion farmers. The farmers are practicing the thing. 2.3 million trees were protected by digging the holes. See, look, this is 2017, complete dry season. Dig the holes. And then dry season, massive difference.
I guess because during wet season, the grass would spread, right?
The grass will spread during wet season, and during dry season, it'll be protected by the holes from conditions. So you reverse the desert. So it's kind of a scientific. We've had there's actually been quite a bit of restoration of natural lands. But I mean, I think that's one of the things that is a recurring theme on Advice for Buffoons. As hopeless as things can be, there are always, on the flip side, in some place in the world, there's always a restoration.
Yeah.
Every punch that the world takes, there's someone giving it a kiss. And we need to encourage that kind of kindness and goodness.
True.
And I hope that with this podcast, I do that on a micro scale. On a micro scale, if we have 5 listeners, and through the week those listeners get spat on and shit on, and then they come and look at this podcast, and there's just a little bit of fucking niceness and chuckleheads, fuck, maybe it was worth it. I don't know.
Straight up. I agree.
Yeah. But yeah. What do you think about that?
It's all about making people's lives better.
Mm.
I think we make people's lives better. If they listen to it, they must like it.
I think it's also important I like the idea of highlighting positive things in the world, because I think so much of the world is so deeply cynical and angry.
Yeah.
Do you think that we should have more cynicism?
No.
Apparently,
it's hard not to be cynical when you have to work.
He goes on to say, apparently there's actually 4 types of deserts: arid, semi-arid, coastal, and cold. The Sahara Desert is an arid desert due to the majority of it not being near water. The Gobi Desert is a cold desert due to its altitude and the fact that it is in the rain shadow of the Himalayas.
I didn't know that.
I do respect Wiccan practices. I'm not a Wiccan myself, but I do a lot of research about Wicca. Like most faiths, it's a lot of manifestation, just in a different form. Different rituals, like praying in Christianity. Whatever floats people's boats. I would have been super sad if you guys didn't come to the Epic Hot Tub House and I found out through the video. That's very reasonable. The whole sperm egg section pissed me off.
I know.
Okay, Tula, listen. The mom has XX, so she can only give the X, but the egg is always X. The dad has XY, so the sperm have XY, but the sperm can only give one of those chromosomes because the egg has the X.
Yeah.
The eggs do choose the sperm to enter them, but the sperm will always determine the gender. Believing the egg chooses the gender is the King Henry VIII shit. This is all simplified, of course, as we are excluding all the intersex variations.
Yeah. No, I realized after it, I was like, wait,
You
I
kind of
think
had
I'm
to think about
wrong.
that one.
Yeah.
But you were vitriolic. You were like angry. You're like, I took biology. I took etymology. I
Because
know about
I,
ants.
because I, at one point in my life, I did know.
Yeah. The depression has gotten worse, and I want to write. What is some writing advice or writing inspiration or writing motivation you have?
Hmm, that might be geared to you.
Yeah, I don't know if you have a ton of perspective on that. You don't really write.
I wrote Snail Snails.
But why don't you start it off with saying, when you have to write an essay for school, how do you get off your ass and do it?
Oh God. Um, I do the opposite of you because you like plug you do it all at once.
No,
No,
it's not what I do.
I
I wrote a
usually
77-page book. You think I wrote that in one day?
yeah.
What?
I don't know. What I do for essays is I leave out all the sources. I leave the sources till the end, and
Mm.
I do an outline, and I think of an idea of how I'm gonna write it first.
You don't make outlines.
Well, I'll say like first I'll write out my topic paragraph because that's like the hardest part.
It's
I
called a
know.
thesis.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do three more paragraphs. Paragraph one is going to be about this. Two is this. But I know it's a lot harder for a book because it's just like it's not it's not as dense. You have to keep writing.
If you have a 6-page essay due, what percent of that is done in one day?
Two.
That is an irresponsible writing practice.
What? You think 3 days to write an essay is unreasonable?
You said two.
Yeah, 2 pages, six, 2, 4, 6, 3 days.
I
2 pages a day.
Okay. So my process is I don't set a I don't really set when I'm writing and I'm not feeling motivated to do it. I don't I don't rely on motivation because motivation is a very fickle thing, and there's going to be times in your life where you have to work and you won't want to, and there won't be motivation, and you don't have a choice. You have to do it. Um, and so I tend to set and say, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those are days where I will write for 40 minutes. If I write 200 words, if I write 500 words, if I write 600 words, but I am going to do it. I have to. It's a chore. And it's not obviously it's not always a chore, but that's kind of how I think about it, is like, this is work that has to get done. It's not, and I mean, there's times where I write for pleasure and there's times where I write as a like an artistic creative pursuit, but I don't think I think if you were a skilled writer, which I think you are, I don't think that it's a I think it stops being a game once you get good at it, and I think it starts being a a form of work, but it's a form of work that is self-driven, creative, meaningful, and intellectually stimulating. So in that way, it is a lot better than normal work, because most normal work makes you stupid and dumb and is a waste of time. Um, but if something's important, then you need to make time for it. Nobody else is going to make time for it, and nobody's going to tell you when to do it. So I find that, don't think about the motivation. Don't think about being motivated. Think about, like, this is something that'll get done, and justify it. Like, this is something that'll get done and it's good for me. This is something that gets done and I want to do it. This is something that'll get done and I gotta.
Some
Like,
A way I give myself motivation is if I'm thinking of an idea, I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. I focus on the emotion of it, and I'm like, let's put that down on paper. And even if it doesn't make 100% of sense right now, at least I'll have it
but there's not always
on
gonna be
paper.
an idea, is what I'm saying. Sometimes you are writing and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
And
because that can be hard if you're just sitting there like, oh, what do I write about?
you just write. You just write, you just start and you
But,
keep going.
but I'm saying if you have an idea, it makes it a lot easier to
Yeah, but
go from
that's
there.
yeah, which I understand, but that's not always the case.
Yeah,
Especially if you're writing a book.
because I think it can be kind of counterintuitive if you're just forcing yourself to write.
But it doesn't matter. It has to be done sometimes. Like,
I guess
if you're
I'd
trying
like
to
to
write a
wait.
book, if you're trying to write a book and you're like, okay, this book is my job. It doesn't matter if you don't want to write. It doesn't matter if you don't have ideas. That's your job and it's got to get done. Like sometimes
Yeah.
that's the case, and that's not always the case, but I'm saying that an element of that is valuable to be like this is a disciplined thing. You this is a disciplined thing. It's a job that's got to get done. I'm not saying to think about it like a job, but I think I think that discipline can be valuable. And like obviously with writing, you don't want it to be like something you resent. You should always enjoy it, but it's not always going to be tons of fun. But if you do it and you write and you just sit down and do it, by the end of it you'll have an extra page that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't done it. And which is a bit of a truism, but I mean the point stands. Um with dealing like with depression or like anxiety about writing, I think that there can be a sense that like it's work and it's hard and you don't want to do it, or you think that whatever you create will just be trash. Um, let's say that's true. Let's say when you're depressed, your writing is garbage. You still did it. You still sat down and wrote it, and that is something to be proud of, and it's a success. One of the best ways to cope with feelings of anxiety and depression is with creativity and expression. Channeling some of those negative emotions or channeling some of those hopes is a way to deal with stress and sadness and grief and stuff like that. So, but I
Yeah.
mean, you have to be forgiving. You have to be forgiving and understanding of yourself, um, because you're not always gonna write a magnum opus, and you're not always gonna be able to sit down and write 4 pages a day or whatever. Like sometimes you're gonna be able to get down 200 words and that's it, and they're not even gonna be that good. But the fact of the matter is, you did it. You got up and you did it, and you didn't want to, and that's successful. It's like having a shower. Like sometimes all you can do is fucking have a shower and brush your teeth and then go back to bed. But you still fucking did it. Like it's still something,
Yeah.
right? And so you have to be forgiving of yourself and understanding and say, I've got all these obstacles in front of me. So if I can even take a nibble, that's okay. You know? You don't
And
have to finish the meal, but you should take a bite.
to piggyback on that, the interesting thing about writing, especially electronically, is you can always revise things very easily. Like it's very easy to go back and reread like a paragraph you wrote and say, I actually don't like this part. I'll just delete that and rewrite it
Yeah. But if
because it's
you're
better to do that than just have nothing.
if you have nothing and it's all ideas, then
Then you have nothing.
you have nothing. You have nothing, and you might say like, "Oh, well, the idea doesn't work. The idea doesn't work." Yeah, but I think the more you explore the idea, physically speaking, the more fleshed out it becomes. And if the idea doesn't work, okay, well, get the idea down on paper and then keep going and then revise that idea.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's something that you'll write and you'll find a way to make this idea function.
This is my opinion, but I think any kind of thing someone writes, especially if it's creative writing, I think needs to be revised like at least like 3 or 4 times before it's like a good quality.
Nah. I don't agree with that either.
I really every time I write an essay, I go over it like 3 or 4 times because I always am like I'm stupid. Why did I write that?
When I showed you the Devious Creeper parts 1 and 2 are first drafts.
Yeah,
They were not edited at all. There's no editing.
yeah, but you don't need to revise that fucking 4 times.
No, but
It's
I
for
mean
fun.
it. Yeah, but for fun is a bit diminutive because like they are like shit posts, but they're still acts of human labor that created art,
Yeah, but
right?
I'm saying you don't have to worry about like the grammar being right or like your arguments or
No,
anything
I
like
make
that.
it's structurally sound.
Yeah,
Like
but
I don't know, like I don't know if you like my story I wrote. How many like revisions would you say that requires?
if you want to get it published, I'd say yeah, like at least 2 or 3.
2 or 3, man. I don't know about 2 or 3. I am
Because
a
I did my edits, but I still don't think like I think it needs a professional like editor if you want to get it published.
For a first draft, though, I think it's of a pretty good quality.
Hmm.
I don't know. I I'm a lot more of the perspective that I'd rather get something out there than spend all my time doting on one project. I am and always have been a sort of first thought,
One done
best
it.
thought kind of person, and like I obviously recognize the value of editing, and with professional works, which I do have multiple published works. This is not hyperbole. I have 54 published articles and two uh works of published poetry. I use revision, but most of the time, a lot of my creative writing and comedy writing is fucking their first drafts. I don't edit them because I don't care. I think editing's obviously important, but I think it's more important. The first draft is the most important draft you'll ever have. It like, and there's no two bones about that. I don't think you can. I don't. I mean, I'm sure. I think you agree with that too.
Hmm.
Like, what do you like? What's more important, a perfect first draft or a first draft?
A first
A
draft.
first draft, because you're never gonna have a perfect first draft.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I think, I
Because
guess
often when you do a redraft of things, you add parts or you like add paragraphs to enhance your story, make things more clear,
I
and you won't pick that up until you think about it and reread it.
I guess what I'm getting at is my main point is twofold. One, it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. It's about building a schedule that you can stick to. But on the flip side, there's also a necessity to be cautious and understanding. Because if you try to write a book a day, like obviously that's hyperbole, but if you try to write, if you if what's ideal for you is writing 300 pages a day or 300 words a day, and you're like, I'm gonna write 4 pages a day, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna write 4 pages in one day. You're gonna feel burnt out, and then you're not gonna write for another 2 weeks. But if you say, okay, for every day, I'm gonna write at least 30 minutes, then you will have that. You might only write 150 words, but if you write 150 words, three weeks in a row. If you write 150 words every day for 30 days, right? You've got 4,500 words. That's like what, 7, 8, 9 pages, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then by the end of the year, you've got 90 pages. That's you've written a novella in a year. And if that, and some people have not written anything. And I think anything is something to be proud of, which sounds like a really low bar, but it's true. And so,
I don't know. I feel like I can't. I think some people work like you do, where they can, if they set a schedule, they can adjust to it and work with it. But I think some people just can't. If I told myself I had to do half an hour a day,
you
I
will
would spend like 20 minutes of that 30 being like,
you will never meet an artist who has a published work that does not work on it on a schedule. Not a
I guess.
successful one, anyways. I
Yeah.
think, but
Maybe
but
that's
that's
why I'm not right.
but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like you have to be like Stephen King and write 4 pages a day.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's true. But I think you have to do it every day, or every second day, or every Friday. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's too much to write every day, but then you write an hour on Friday, or you write an hour on Monday, or you write down ideas throughout the week and then you put them on paper on
Yeah.
Friday. But it has to be consistent.
I like that idea more, like having like an idea book, because then you can use those to help you when it's time to write rather than just putting it all on the moment.
But you have to do it. It
Yeah.
has to get done, or otherwise it won't get done.
I know you're also not really into this, but I'm really into like rituals for like
Mm.
getting into the headspace for it. Like whenever I write an essay, I need to make sure alone in my room and I have like some time set out for the next little bit to write, and like I'll put on some Nintendo music in the background and I'll have a cup of tea beside me,
Yeah.
something.
Well, but that's the thing with depression is you have to you have to account for it, and it might be that you only write when you have high energy, which isn't consistent. But like that's why I say there has to be something. If if when you're in a high point you can write an hour a day, that's great. But if you're in a low point and you can only write 10 minutes, at least you did it. But but it the bottom line is it has to be consistent. It can't be haphazard. You can't make you can't make excuses about stuff. If your writing that you do
I mean,
is,
life happens too.
yeah, but like, then there's always going to be that. Oh, well, I had a long day at work, so I'm not going to write today. Oh, I my mom is in town, so I can't write today. My bus ride was shitty, so I can't write it. Like, you know, like it's got to be. And like I deal with depression and anxiety too. I have days where I write and it feels like what I made was complete dog shit. Like, I get it, I do, but or I don't even want to write, or I'd rather be dead than be writing. But it's got to get done. It's got to get done. It's just got to get done. And I mean, it's not but also, if you don't do it, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to work on and look and say, okay, well, why didn't it get done? I was feeling really shitty. That's why I felt like crap, so I didn't do it. Okay, well, there's what is a way to reduce those feelings? What is a way to get in a better headspace?
I
Or maybe
think
you can't write at home. Okay, well, maybe you need to go out. Maybe you need to go to a library.
I think you have to justify it to yourself about why it's important. Because if you just say like, "Oh, arbitrarily it needs to get done,"
Everybody knows why their art's important. If you are an artist, you know why it's important.
yeah. But I think if you set like deadlines to be like, "Oh, I want to have this many pages written by X date," you can kind of plan around that rather than it just
I
being
don't
like
like
every
I don't
day.
like
That's
deadlines.
how I would function
I
better.
don't like
I
deadlines.
need deadlines or else I won't get shit done.
I don't like deadlines. I think they are oftentimes counterproductive,
Well,
especially if you have like ADHD or OCD. The deadlines can end up causing just stress.
well, everyone's different, but I
Yeah.
function well with them.
Um. I think it's it's consistency. It's about discipline and consistency, and it's about It's about being kind to yourself, and but I mean, I'm kind of talking in circles now, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to be Stephen King, but I don't think you should be George R. R. Martin either. Like, I think it just, if it's only 10 minutes a day, you can do it, and you can only, and that's it. That's okay. If you can only write 100 words a day, by the end of the year, you've got 90 pages. That's more you'd have if you only did 300 once a week, right?
Hmm.
So, but it's tough, and I do understand that, and I'll never judge somebody for the obstacles they face.
Every
Like,
every time I hear about like a writer struggling with the motivation and like uh inspiration to write things, it almost seems like inevitably tied to like a mental health discussion
yeah, I
because it's very much like
if you
a motivation argument.
I think motivation's important, but I don't think it's the end all be all. I think motivation can push your art to new places, but motivation isn't what makes your art. What makes your art is discipline and the realization that your art is worth being seen. And it is. All like and this is it's a lot of people that don't agree with me on this, but art is valuable because it's made. It's not valuable because there's anything special about it. It's not valuable because it's really good. It's valuable because a human sat down and decided that someone needs to hear what they have to say. And that's why it's valuable. It is valuable once it's created.
Do you think it
Period.
do you think it depends all this we're talking about where it's written to?
For some people, for me it's not.
Because
I
I
can write
find
anywhere.
I when I was in school, I used to focus on getting all my writing stuff done while I was still at school
For some people, yeah, that's kind of how they think about stuff.
because
But
I'm still in like work mode. Once I get home, if I try writing in my bedroom, I'm like, oh, my bed is right there.
yeah,
All it would take is me to flop over.
some people are really bad with the distractions. But then you have to find your zone. If you can only write in a library, you can only write in a library. Go ahead, they're free. They're not going to kick you out for writing.
Yeah.
They like you there. If you can only write when you're drinking a soda, then
You know what I
buy
find?
some caffeine-free soda.
I find the weirdest thing is people who need to be around people to write.
Oh,
Like
terrible for me.
some
I can't write around. I said I can write anywhere, but I can't write with people.
like some people go to Tim Hortons and Starbucks and
Yeah.
stuff
I
just
can write
to
in Tim's.
I guess.
I can write in Tims if I have headphones on, but I can't write with friends.
I would like, I mean, maybe it's because I'm like socially like anxious, but
Probably.
if the idea of people watching me write fills me with anxiety to no end.
For me, it's more about distraction than anxiety.
Mm.
Like I get distracted very easily while writing, and sometimes that's to its benefit because I learn more things, but sometimes it's not.
Because what if someone looks over and is like, "Oh, what you writing there?" I'd jump off a bridge.
Nobody asks that. Nobody wants to know.
But what if they do?
Do you know the number one thing about writers?
Hmm.
Nobody gives a fuck what they're writing. The only people who care about what writers write are people who read books, which is like gay people and women, and your friends. Um, yeah, true. It's true and it's not true. But the fact of the matter is, nobody at Starbucks gives a shit what you're writing. In fact, they probably hope you die.
They probably think you look cool while writing.
They probably think you're awesome, and they probably
Yeah.
want to ask you out. They probably
Hmm.
want to fucking lick on your toes and suck on your nipples until that fucking blue black cream comes out.
I mean, yeah. Sometimes you ever like go to like Starbucks and you see someone who's obviously like a media
And I
person.
find it. I resent them.
I'm jealous of them.
I'm not. I was there. I lived that life. It's not that fun.
Mm.
I wrote in media, and I would go to Tim Hortons and I'd write some of my articles while sitting in Tim's. It's not
Mm.
glamorous. It's work.
Yeah.
Art can become work, and sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing. It's a good thing when it gets done consistently. It's a bad thing when you resent it.
Hmm.
Don't if you are really resenting your art, do a different project. Like, but once again, it's still got to get done. But if you're writing a book and you start to resent it, okay, you still need to write, but don't write that. Write something else. Write a journal. Vent. Write something funny. But do it. It's got to get done. And I know that's hypocritical for me to say because I've not been writing nearly as much as I should, but it is what it is. You know
Yeah.
what? That's the forgiveness part. The forgiveness part is that you're gonna fail. You're gonna fuck up and
Yeah.
you're gonna fail, but that's
That's a
okay.
good point. Being in the space where you start to resent your work, you're just gonna make the worst dog shit ever. Because I've done that. I've tried to like write essays that I thought were stupid at the time, and I was like, oh my God, like I could feel my sass coming off in my writing that I was writing,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
it
not
doesn't
good.
make for good work.
No.
Like, I mean, there are sometimes you read something and you can feel, but with the motivation, motivation will come the more you interact with art. The more you interact with art, other people's art, the more motivated you will become, and the more things you will take from them. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, especially in writing. Writers read. Good writers read. Bad writers think that they're the best writer in the world and they don't need to read anyone else.
This is kind of specific, but one thing that helped me is when I was writing, especially like when I would write like our fan fictions or whatever,
Mm.
is to pretend that you're someone else writing. Like,
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
okay, hear me out. It's like if you're a narrator, like
Mm.
you're writing like from a perspective of a narrator, you pretend that like your narrator has their own feelings
You're
and input into things. Because that's what I did with Snalis
that's
Snalis.
that's kind of a particular way of writing.
It's really funny
Your
though.
narrators are really like whenever Tyler writes stories, his narrators are really like opinionated and rude. Like they're characters in themselves, which is fun, but some people really resent that style.
Yeah, I'll be
Which
like,
style.
I'll
But
be like, X character looked at his pancakes. They were shitty pancakes that didn't look good at all.
my narrators I think are a little vindictive.
Yeah,
Like
that's
but
that's what I mean. Like if you put yourself in a
there's no such thing as
yeah
objective writing. It's not real. It's
yeah,
not at all.
if you
There's no
have,
such thing as an objective work of art. It's just not true.
especially if you're trying to write a comedy, if you like try to think of ways that are funny
A
to write.
comedy a comedy will always have a narrator with opinions. That's the nature of things. But
Mhm.
Richie doesn't really write comedies.
The funniest characters are always the ones that have like very strong irrational
The
opinions.
narrator also sets the mood too.
Yeah.
Like if you're writing a horror story, having a vindictive or cruel narrator can make things more interesting.
Hmm.
If you're writing a slice of life story, having a kind and understanding narrator. If you're
Yeah,
writing
that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like if you're trying to write like a cozy book, like focus on like the coziness of the
it's
atmosphere.
thematic, but
Yeah.
um I mean that's more a point about motivation is about interacting with art, seeing what other people write, seeing how you can borrow themes that they used within reason, of course, but like sometimes a turn of phrase or an expression is really useful. Sometimes a word they use is useful. Sometimes a style of prose is useful. Sometimes it's mechanical, sometimes it's stylistic, but you have to interact with other people. I mean, I don't write as much as I should, but I read every single day. Every single day I read a book. I'm reading. I
Oh,
read probably like 30 pages a day while I'm like awake Monday to Friday. Like I read a lot.
man, it was so embarrassing. I was talking with my counselor about like books that I read as like an escapism
I read
thing.
Caiaphas King.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, what kind of books do you read?" It's like, "Well, if it's not like social like theory stuff, then I like reading like world building stuff."
Mm.
And she's like, "What?"
I like reading the Kingdom Hearts Ultimanium.
Yeah, like how do I explain what fucking Caiaphas Cain
It's a
and
fantasy story.
stuff?
You just say it's fantasy.
Yeah, I basically said that, and she was like, "Why do you think you like that?" I was like,
Like I don't know, bitch.
"Fucking badass."
It almost sounds like your therapist does psychoanalysis.
She does.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I kind of like it
It
because
sounds
I'm
like
willing to talk about it.
I don't know if your counselor's a great fit for you. I wonder.
I don't know. It's only for 2 more weeks anyway.
That's true. Um, we also have these two things. We have these two still.
Oh, yeah, do they expire?
Uh, no.
Okay. We should get nachos again.
It's in my nature.
Ah,
You ain't
ah,
gotta tell me.
that's scary.
It's a Zippo.
Is it broken?
It's out of butane. Needs
Hmm.
more butane. You know what butane is, right? It's like oil. It's like
I miss
lighter
being
fluid.
able to light candles in your room.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. I took up like most of the episode talking about writing.
Yeah. Is that the last question?
That was the only question.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. No, it's tough. I get it. I do. I think maybe even more than you realize. I get it, but depression fucking sucks, and it'll kill you if you let it. But I mean that's life, right? Like there are certain things we have to overcome, and there's not really someone who can come and save us. It's got to come from us. But the fact that you the fact that you are depressed and you want to continue making art shows that you can make art. The desire to make art is necessitated by the desire to make it. If you don't want to make it, you won't. And if you do, it'll be garbage. That's why capitalism produces garbage art. The more producers are involved, the worse art gets.
my counselor also recently gave me this advice. She said, like, if you're overthinking about things and stressing about the future of
Just
things,
stop.
no, she's like, get out of your room because your room is where you have the freedom to wander and to stress about things that don't matter. But you will naturally not do that as much if you're in like a commonplace room. Like if you go out to your living room or you sit like in a library or something, you're more like socially conscious, I guess. And
That doesn't always work for people though, especially if somebody has like autism and they want to be in a low stim environment.
I guess, yeah.
Like I mean we've said this multiple times. It's different for everybody. Everybody's process is going to look different. Somebody's strength is someone else's weakness, and you need to find out what works for you. I think you know what works for you already, but you
R-
have to enhance that and strengthen it.
Richie, feel free to take our advice as needed
I think
and discard of the rest.
I think there's going to be advice that's helpful. And just because something's comfortable doesn't mean it's good either.
Richie, take this video, everything that you agree with, clip for later, everything else delete out.
There's going to be things I've said that he disagrees with that I think I'm right about.
Yeah, me too.
I think there's things that people tell me all the time that I
We've
disagree with that they're right about.
we've said this before that I like am neurotypical and so I kind of don't understand
Yeah,
some things.
but I mean, my own processes are based in a state of mind different than Richie's. So,
Yeah.
like, what functions for me might not function for him. But I think everybody has something they can take from someone else, and in a way that functions properly for them. Like, if you can only write while drunk, that's not sustainable. You need to find a better way
That
of
would be
doing
really
things.
funny if it was like the best author ever, but he could only write when
There,
he's drunk.
there are a lot of authors that their art is best when they're using drugs and alcohol, but that's not a sustainable way of living. It's just not.
I wrote half of Snail Snail's drunk.
I mean, writing while intoxicated can be fun, and sometimes it genuinely can. I've written things while intoxicated that I'm genuinely proud of because it lowers your inhibitions and sometimes opens your state of mind.
Yeah,
It sort of pushes down those barriers,
I got
but you
the.
also have to find a way to do that without drugs and alcohol
Yeah,
because it's not
it's not
sustainable to
healthy.
live that way. It's okay once in a
Yeah.
while, it's fun, but you can't do it all the time.
I
You'll
got
die.
I got the inspiration for Ida's apple blood being alcohol when I was drinking a twisted tea.
You're
And
like
I was like,
I'm crazy.
what if this was yummy?
You're like I'm twisted.
Uh,
I'm
I
twisted
like
tea.
tea.
You're
Yeah.
like I like
Yeah. Oh my
you're
god, can
like
that be my nickname?
twisted
Twisted
tea.
tea. Yeah.
You're like I'm twisted and I'm tea.
Yep.
You're like I'm twisted tea. Drink the twisted tea.
Can that be my new nickname in Fedine?
Twisted tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Um.
They don't put them in bottles anymore. What's with that?
No, cans only.
It's fucking
I mean I hope this
have a
advice
pop in
is
bottles.
I hope this advice is helpful. And I understand what it is like to be a writer, and it's tough. It's not writing is one of the I think honestly, I think writing is one of the least appreciated and eh, like most one of the most technical forms of artwork because there are so many people that claim to have an objective knowledge on how to do it properly, and it is such like a I mean game development is more technical, but you know what I mean. Like there is a painting. There a painter will find a muse. A painter will find somebody who loves their paints no matter what it looks like. But with writing, it is so critical. It is so there are so many rules. There are so many ways you can fuck up. There's so many mistakes you can make, but I don't think any of that matters nearly as much as just doing it. Um, that's what I think. That's what I think. I mean,
If
like,
I, this is me, and this might sound crazy to you, but I think if I had to write a book, I would think of it almost like I had a manager who set out a table for me and was like, "You're gonna write, say a chapter every 2 weeks,
yeah,
and if you don't do that, you're gonna get fired."
that seems like you're punishing yourself.
Well, a little bit, but that's how I would be able to do it.
The way what works for me is not that at all. But what works for me is I'm gonna write like if I knew you were coming over on Friday and I had Monday to Thursday to work, I'd say okay, I'm gonna write 4 pages this week. I might write two on Monday. I might write one on Thursday, and I might write one on Wednesday. But it would get done.
Hmm.
And
But
77 pages. I keep saying this. 77 pages. It's not that much, but that's something. I made something. I tried. I can honestly say that I did try. And a lot of people can't. A lot of people but that's you have to try.
yep.
And I mean you can say I've read your writing. I can say with definitive evidence that you write, you try, and you have a vision, and you work on it. And a lot of people cannot say that. A lot of people can't say that, and that's really, at the end of the day, my friend, that is genuinely something to be very proud of. And I say this to all the writers, all the artists, all the painters, all the musicians, anyone who creates that listens to this. If you have published one thing, it doesn't matter if anyone's bought it. It doesn't matter if anyone likes it. You had an idea, you carried it out, and you did it. That's huge. That's massive. A lot of people can't say that, and that's cool. Tyler is not as prolific as an artist as like me or Richie, but you have
Nope.
still written things. You have still said, "I have an idea, I'm going to execute it," and then did it. It's a big thing. It's huge. Art is one of the most beautiful things a person can do, other than fucking drink soda and jerk off.
Yep. And game.
And game. And game. Some games do inspire me for my writing. I find Dark Tide is kind of inspiring with the aesthetics and themes.
When we were playing FF16, I was this close to writing like a fantasy novel.
I took this beautiful ass photo actually this week. This beautiful ass photo. Look at
Oh,
that.
I
Look
like
at a
that.
beautiful, insanely beautiful photo.
Aw, that's a good picture.
Thank you. Because I remember I got this idea for a book that takes place in this flooded. I've told you about this already. I have an idea for a book that takes place in a flooded city.
I don't think so.
I have told you about it and you forgot.
Hmm.
It's a story that takes place in like a city that's been abandoned, and the city is surrounded by a massive ocean.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it takes place in this flooded city, and this is almost a inspirational photo for that narrative a little bit.
Maybe you should go to Venice.
I actually had an idea for the way the book is going to open.
It's wet.
It takes place from the perspective. I can't spoil,
Okay.
but it it takes place from it takes place from the perspective of a semi-aquatic rat after the story's ended,
I like that.
and the rat is like observing the people around him. He's like, all these weird freaks just struggling, but because I kind of want it to be a hopeful thing at the end of the day, because it's like, yeah, shit keeps moving on. I don't like writing hope. I don't like writing to be hopeless, but that's a style thing. Some people like that. Some people like writing about decimation, apocalypse. And that's your style. That's your thing.
I used to be such like an emo writer in high school. All my stories would start off like it was a gray city and the woman in the gray coat smoked a cigarette as the black fumes circled into the night sky.
Well, there's a lot of people like they don't like negative writing. They can't read it. They don't enjoy it. They think it's like they almost think it's inherently wrong to write something that's grim or write something that doesn't have a happy ending. Not every piece of art is gonna be happy. Not every piece of art is gonna appeal to your sense of morality or what's right and wrong. Art, in a lot of ways, art is going to challenge and there's a lot of great art that is uncomfortable and gross. There are a lot of great art. There are going to
See,
be great works of art that are disgusting. There are going to be great works of art that are uncomfortable, that are garish and ugly and despicable. But that's sometimes that's what's necessary. Sometimes you got to do that shit.
see, I don't know. I feel I like stories where it has negative aspects if it's like essential to a character's arc, like in overcoming their struggles of whatever that may be. But like sometimes when I hear about your novels about Warhammer and it's just like death and sadness the whole time,
I
I'm like,
mean,
why are you reading that?
because it's interesting, and also that's
Like,
not
does it feel conductive to the people's arcs, or is it just the world is naturally a negative place?
well. The world's naturally a negative place, but it's reading about these characters existing in that world. It's not constantly negative, but also
But then you're just reading about a sad world.
yeah, but that's not life isn't always happy. Life isn't always doesn't have a happy ending, and it's also it's disingenuous too. There are certain situations that don't have happy endings. Like reading about a residential school and being like, "Where's the happy ending at?" It's disingenuous. There isn't one.
Yeah,
Not always. Sometimes there is. There's always hope. There is always hope. There is always a chance of a better world. But
that's also real life.
it's also art is informed by reality.
Yeah,
Stories about war and conflict aren't happy because war isn't happy. War doesn't have a happy ending.
there doesn't always
When a
need to
war
be.
ends, you're still suffering.
There doesn't always need to be a happy ending, I don't think, but I like there to be a satisfying arc of some kind.
There are satisfying arcs in these books.
Are there?
How would you know?
I'm asking you.
You're half listen. You've been halfway through a Warhammer book for like over a year.
No, not
If
over a
you want to
year.
see how that arc plays out, you got to finish the book.
I know.
You can't be questioning. Yes, Warhammer does have satisfying character arcs and interesting characterizations.
Well, so
But
far,
sometimes the arc is negative. Sometimes people get worse.
I think Caiaphas's arc right now is to not be racist to birds.
Sometimes the arc in a story is about how a character becomes a piece of shit,
Yeah,
and that's the story.
there's a lot of children's content like kind of like that. The,
Caillou.
yeah, the main character just gets worse over time.
It is time to end the episode.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening.
I hope this helps.